interested in, I like. But I mean, I'm like, again, why don't we just go forward? Why can't we? Why with the prequels? What, prequels are inherently tragedies, and we know the end. We could go forward. It's a big wizarding world. If you want to do something in America, do something in America. That's got nothing to do with Harry. You can mention him and Mrs. Neurotic, and because look, my son was bummed. My son was like genuinely bummed. And as I've said before, my son, he's on the spectrum, as they say, and emotion is something, you know, he doesn't do that often. I mean, he's got them, you know, of course, but it's just different with him. And he had a lot of emotion. So, I mean, hey, that was good to see. And we had the death talk, because he never had like a grandma die. He was too young when his grandma died, and he's never like really experienced death. So we had that that talk with my son, which is not easy. It's not fun at all. But he's good now. He's a good lad. My son's name is Logan. He's an awesome kid. He's named after Wolverine, and his middle name is Tiberius. That's after Captain Kirk. I never got to name the cat, the dog, the bird, the fish, anything ever before. So I'm like, I am naming this kid, and I didn't get to name the older kid. So yeah, man, it was a bummer. And I'm still bummed about it. And then, you know, I dipped in on Twitter and saw that negative stuff and got even more bummed and mad. And I just said, you know, it's an easy choice not to be mad. I'll just stay the hell off Twitter. And it was that easy. Let them talk, and you know, if nobody reacts to it then they're just talking to themselves. And I know we want to defend Stan and stuff, but maybe if we just ignore people, generally just ghost them, it tends to work. It tends to work. Just tune them out. Those of you who are husbands out there, you know how to tune things out, don't you? Come on, it's a skill. It's a skill we learn. Good morning, CD Horde, Mike Cedar, Aki Ross, Brent Newman, Mary Ashmead Eder Wrench, Sebastian Simonson, Six Scale Combat, Dalton Mortimer, Lee Kirby and Ditko will be reconvening the bullpen in the afterlife. Yeah, that's an awesome sentiment, Dalton. I love that. I want that. You know, maybe I'll get my buddy Derek to commission that drawing. That would be, somebody draw that. That would be awesome. I want to see that. What's up, Dalton? How you doing? Brent Newman, Halam899 is watching for the first time. Mortis is here. The Purple Fist of Fury. So it did, but it. But the movies are separate than the books. So movie canon is obviously going to be different than the books. Who had a sex change? No, I can't spoil it. I cannot spoil it. Bring back Harry Potter. Yes, bring back Harry. You know, the story ended good. I mean, it ended okay. I like the books. I do. That Harry Potter game is a go. They have an RPG and a tabletop miniatures game. That's cool. There's an Expanse game coming out. I can't wait. So I'm actually going to play that. And I'm not a big gamer of any kind. Just no tardigrades, please, right? Don't want to stop, but I like the books and not the movies. Don't want to sound. Yeah, you don't sound like a snob. That's perfectly okay. I would say the vast majority of Harry Potter fans like the books over the movies, because the movies, you know, made a lot of mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes going in, like not enough house elves, really gutting. You know, The Prisoner of Azkaban, which is still the best movie, but it should, I mean, you want to talk about a movie that should have been 2 parts. Hello, Alan Sparks. How's it going? How's it going? Most adults have an apparition license. Yes, Nathan Norman. Well, They do, but there's a couple characters who can't apparate that just showed up someplace. There's some muggles, we'll just say, or no-mages, as they say in America. I thoroughly like muggles better. I need to watch this just to see the inconsistencies for myself, says Liam Hodges. Yeah, I mean, just don't spend what I spent. I spent a ton of money going to that, getting my the Barca Lounger seats and the assigned seats, which here in America, we have a big problem with that. Every time I go to the theater, I got to get somebody out of my seats. And I hate, it's like, dude, alphabet? It's an alphabet. C6, it's not hard. Bwahaha, that is the theory now, yes. iPad scripts, says 6 scale combat. I like that, iPad scripts. Usually a specialized person is responsible to track continuity when filming. This looks like the failure during cutting and then the director not noticing, says Andre Merrick. Yeah, absolutely, Andre. And hello, Andre. And Andre is a new patron. Welcome, Andre. We welcome you. Thank you so much. And that is very well stated. It is up to continuity. What I think, the way I bring it down on the editor, listen, the editors are told what to do. They're told what unless you're Michael Kahn, you're not allowed to just edit stuff without a director looking over your shoulder. So yes, the responsibility lies on the director ultimately and the studio, because I think, I'll defend David Yates a little bit on this one. I think the runtime was too long. They had to get it under a runtime, and they had to do it quick because they do this ridiculous. They didn't used to do this. They didn't used to like announce release dates years in advance to allow filmmakers to, give them a little leeway. Now, there's another side of the coin, which is like some filmmakers will take years, and like a Terry Gilliam and stuff. So you got to rein that in a little bit. But yeah, Akiro says I saved, saved you 10 euros. There you go, and a couple hours. But you're right, Andre. You are correct in that statement. Is it an M. Night Shyamalan inspired film? Kinda. I'll say like kinda, the only hint I'll give is a dun 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 dun. Just when you hear that music, something like that. I'm gonna sip some coffee here and then read some more chat. When in a soap opera, when somebody goes like, I'm having I am no longer Gary. I would like to identify as Mary, and then the camera zooms in, and then everybody reacts for like 5 minutes, and they go, something like that. But that's not what happened in the movie. I had to do something very different from happened, so I don't spoil it. We joked around at the end though, like the group of us walked out and we saw these Harry Potter fans like posing in front of the big stand-up, right? They're all taking a picture, and my friend Tim looks around and goes, "They're so happy right now. Man, they're gonna be pissed in a couple hours." I know. And well, I know. You want to just tell them the end? Just scream it, just like at the end of Empire Strikes Back. How bad does it kill canon? Bad. It's bad. He's looking at him in the mirror. You saw that they showed that scene. I mean, they showed so much of the movie in the trailer. Yeah. Comrade Bernfred Putin's Axfelder. If you want to torture yourself, go watch the original She-Ra pilots and then the reboot. You might even get sick from watching. It's that bad. Oh my God, it's so bad. In all respects. I watched, I can't say I watched She-Ra when I was a kid. That was not something I was into. But I think I watched some He-Man. I was kind of old. I'm old. So, you know, I would like He-Man was like the generation behind me, comrade. But I have been keeping track. I watched a little bit of She-Ra, and it really is just not for me. It's and it's supposed to be for kids though. I don't know what kids are going to be into that. I think it's made for like 20 somethings maybe. I don't know. It's a twist. Yes. Make sure when I identify as Mary, be sure I'm wielding a big wrench. That's right. All hail Mary, Ashmead and her wrench. Howdy from from the Anti-Trekkers group, says Alan Hendix. Am I saying that right? Hentgigs? How do you say your last name, Alan? I'm sorry. I have a hard last name too. But welcome. Yeah, you know, apologies to the Anti-Trekker, but I've been scheduling these for almost 8 or 9 months, so I can't really change it. And I know he changed his schedule. I love the Anti-Trekker. I don't mean to step on his toes or anything, but these things happen when we live stream. These things happen, but definitely go check him out. He's awesome. He's funny too. I was watching a bit of it this morning at the gym. Space Hunter and the Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. KSS. I love that movie. Just came out of nowhere, and in an hour and 30 minutes, I knew everything I needed to know, and I cared. Today, 2.5 hours, and I'm lost. Space Hunter and the Adventures in the Forbidden Zone with Molly Ringwald and Peter Straub. It was a 3D movie, and like the bad 80s 3D. Freaking loved it. I mean, it's terrible, but I love it. Oh, the Anti-Trekker arrives. What's up, man? You do not step on my toes. Your channel is awesome, and so is yours. Subscribe to the Anti-Trekker. He knows way more about Star Trek than I do, and most people. So, hats off to you, bud. Sorry you had a bad day on your errands. Yeah, I feel you on that one. When you've gotten away from a store and you have to go back for something here in San Francisco, that's 2 hours, and the store is 2 miles away. It's 2 hours of your day gone if you're like, oh, I forgot the milk. And then you got to go back, and it's 2 freaking hours. It doesn't matter if you take the bus. I mean, actually, you know, maybe if I walked, it'd be faster. Maybe I should just walk. But then you probably get hit by a bus here. The murder rate kind of fluctuates between Caltrain and our buses. Halam's trying to get us to 100 likes. That's awesome. And again, hail to the outer to the Anti-Trekker. I was about to say the outer Trekker. What the fuck? And hail Mary. Nathan Norman, She-Ra betrayed the canon of He-Man as he was the one who brought the sword of honor to Etheria. But now it's just Etheria. Grayskull is on another planet. How did it get there? Oh boy. So they made it about She-Ra first. Is He-Man even going to be in it? I'm sure that's going to sell lots of toys because it was a toy line, right? I remember the toy line. Yeah, definitely hail the Anti-Trekker. So how did the last short trek, Comrade Burnfred Putin's Axefueler asked, how did the last short trek fix canon? I don't get it. I watched Egotastic Fun Times remake of that, and it didn't give me a clue about what could have happened. All right, so let me find that article. When you hear this, by the way, don't be too disappointed because it's fixing canon in the really just, I'm going to bring out an eraser. But this shows how much they're going to fix canon, okay? And I really think there's something to this. So we know, if you saw my review or Anti-Trekker's review of Calypso, the Star Trek, the Discovery is 1,000 years in the future, although they don't really say that. It's been waiting somewhere for 1,000 years. We're assuming it's the future. and a soldier from another planet gets sucked in on the tractor beam, and there's a super intelligent AI that just became sentient, and because it was sitting by itself for 1,000 years, it became like a god, and it was able to get him off the ship and get him a new clothes by how, I don't know. Instead of the soldier worrying about his fellow soldiers or his son or his wife on the other planet, which he worries about a tiny bit, he just kind of screws around on the spaceship, eats the food, the synthesized food, which I don't know how that happened, and danced with the AI on the hologram that's not supposed to be there. So, but after 1,000 years, if a computer's going to get super intelligent, why not hologram? Why couldn't it have just beamed it to its planet? Because it's super powerful now. And I'm trying to stretch as long. Here we go. There's a bunch of new Star Trek news now. All right, so this is according to Cinema Blend. Star Trek Discovery has ruffled feathers with its aesthetic and plot lines, with assumed continuity. Here, I'll share this with you guys. With assumed continuity. This is really dumb, by the way. I just want to warn you. It's dumb, but kind of goes with the show. Star Trek Discovery has ruffled some feathers with its aesthetic and plot lines, with assumed continuity errors causing assumed conflict with a lot of existing Trek series and takes that take place after. The Star Trek Shorts episode Calypso appears to have addressed one of those issues, and it possibly clarified that the USS Discovery's place in the franchise canon. Specifically, we might know why the Discovery's advanced tech was never implemented or on Starfleet ships, or why Season 1's main crew isn't around later. According to the Far-Flung Short Treks episode, something will likely happen to the Star Trek Discovery that results that the crew's disappearance, along with the ship itself, apparently getting stuck in a holding pattern for 1,000 years until Aldous Hodge's character, Kraft, wakes up inside it, with the ship having its specific position for that long. It seems that Discovery and its experimental technology were lost in space. They may explain why advancements such as the Spore Drive didn't find their way into other vessels in the franchise, because nobody kept any backups about it or any plans or anything. They just put everything on the ship. Honestly, I can believe that. From a super secret organization that passes out fucking badges, I can see that, hey, we don't need backups. It's a super secret organization. We're going to keep them all on the ship. It'll be fine. Calypso was set 1,000 years after the events of Star Trek Discovery. We've already said that. You're trying to word salad this article to get it longer. And followed the unfamiliar craft, his escape pod, and rescued by the Discovery. Craft learns the ship is completely unmanned. Your jokes. You can insert your jokes right there. But that he's not exactly alone. The Discovery's artificial intelligence has evolved into a sentient program that named itself Zora. Zora explained she'd been holding the Discovery position for the past millennia under the instruction of the long missing captain, whoever that captain is. So the good news for Star Trek fans is, where's that? I'm sorry. So the good news for Star Trek fans is that we, at least for now, have an explanation for why the Discovery's developing tech and its crew aren't directly referenced in future shows. The bad news is it sounds as though something crazy is going to happen to Michael Burnham. Oh, that's the good news you were talking about. Tilly and Fish, anything ever before. So I'm like, I am named, okay? And I really think there's something to this. So we know in the distant future. I'm not going to go past, we're not completely sure yet, because we're not. So what they're saying is that explains everything. The ship's going to eventually just disappear, and the crew's going to disappear, and that's why Starfleet's not going to use the Spore Drive and the Mushroom Network, because there's no backups anywhere. And honestly, I would believe the writers would do this. I would 100% believe the writers, the Canon Camp writers of this show would do that immediately. They would go, yep, we just zapped in the future, and everybody forgot anything because they didn't leave any backups. they are probably going to end up doing something like that. You know, we got news that there's going to be a Section 31 spinoff. Possibly there's talks, and I did a video on it. Talks are meaningless right now. I think that was more of a, well, I could go into that some other time. But I think talks are just talks. I'm not sure we're going to see that. As far as this show's going to go, I even said it in my recap. I think this is probably going to explain what happens to the actual ship. Like it's going to blink somewhere, you know, in the future or something. We've already had time travel. Okay, it came back 9 months later after the Klingon War. They need to explain that. What Anti-Drecker and many have pointed out is, you know, they've already changed stuff so much. Pretty much the Klingons could whoop the Federation's ass whenever they want, and they just decided not to because Michael Burnham had a fake detonator at the end, and she convinced 9 Klingons, and there was 9. Yeah. So how do you fix the canon? They're basically just going to get an eraser out. They're not going to fix the canon. They've been telling us for this last year with their great marketing campaign of "Don't worry," which I'm always like inspired by a television show that tells me not to worry. Yeah. So Star Trek Discovery, don't worry. Oh my God. Yeah, that's fixing canon, all right, folks. So but that's how much thought they're going to put into it. So I mean, if anybody's out there holding out hope, like they're gonna like, they are just geniuses. They're gonna wrap this all up in a nice little bow, and it's gonna make sense. And we're gonna go, we're sorry, Star Trek Discovery. We were so hard on you. Everything looks great. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. No. Yeah, it's simply, and that's here's the thing with Star Trek Discovery, and I said this to my patrons, it's like, I'll watch it for one more season, and if it gets picked up for a 3rd season, like, then at that point, if I really don't want this show to exist anymore and stuff, the best thing I could personally do is never talk about it again. Because even talking about it negatively and giving it shit, you know, and believe me, a lot of this is just, it's not like I wake up in the morning going, I can't wait to hate on Star Trek Discovery. Woo-wee. No, I don't. I'll just stop caring at that point. I just really will. So we'll have our fun for season 2, see what happens. I highly doubt it's going to turn anything around. And I don't know how, just based on what I see out there, what the feedback is on this show, I don't see a ton of positive feedback. And you know, I look around. There are some people who do truly love the show, but it's not a lot. It's really not a lot. I would say it's easily more than half. People just don't like the show or don't care. I'll put don't care with the don't likes. The dust was people. That's funny. Hey, Kira. The dust was people. It probably was. It probably was. Oh man. As far as like the short as a standalone, I don't know. I still didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was supposed to be like this love story, and I've seen love stories told in 5-minute things on YouTube that are better. Tim F is working and lurking. What is up? Revenge of the Tardigrades. Indeed. Revenge of the Tardigrades. And shout out to Anas Abdeen, our friend Anas Abdeen, who is currently and bravely suing a giant corporation. Has not asked for a penny in crowdfunding or anything. Really wants to, like, props to you, my friend. But if you ask for it, nobody's going to blame you. I mean, you're taking on CBS, and I'm sure people would be happy to help. But the fact that, excuse me, that he hasn't asked yet, you know, we'll see what happens. But good luck to you, whatever happens. Teeny BB says they're all dead. Yay! Crash and burn, baby. Yeah, too bad Starfleet doesn't keep records. Exactly. They ripped off so much else. Why wouldn't it be surprised that they ripped off B5 as well? Yeah. Discovery's computer becomes V'ger. I was waiting for that. Calypso, this is how the producers of STD treat the fans. The ship doesn't go out in a blaze of glory. It's left abandoned for 1,000 years, seemingly forgotten, with no one looking for it, says Liam Hodges. Yes. Maybe that's how I think. Oh, maybe that's how a lot of that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep. I think that's how some Star Trek fans feel right now. I think they do. It'll get better, believe us, says CD Horde. Exactly. Comrade, Broodfred, Putin's axe wielder. So Doctor Who is getting worse and worse. I blame the actors, not the writers. He winks. The writers are really bad. Now, yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. We'll get to that in a bit. I just need to finish my thoughts for Monday. Most of my thoughts are there, but I have more data to back it up. So, in other words, rip off Stargate Universe Season 2 ending. I don't know what it was. Kronos, Cryan, what was it? Oh, that's awesome, Kato. Thanks for putting up Anasa's story in there in the chat. That is cool. You can go check that out. We love Anas Abdeen here. Her in space. Yeah, that's basically what it was. Oh, you know who else died, who passed away on the same, and I'm forgetting his name now, it sucks, but the guy who voiced Hal. Hal 9000 died the same day Stan Lee died. And I really suck for forgetting his name because I have a live stream brain fart going on. The last 50 or so years didn't happen, Gary, says CD Horde. I mean, really, did they? Do we know they happened? No. As far as Star Trek and Doctor Who, yes. Oh, Doctor Who's going to go in there and change that. That's coming. Wasn't V'ger and the stuff Spock saw supposed to be a potential Borg homeworld in canon or possible canon? I think Roddenberry mentioned it once. Says Teno Recluse. I heard fans talk about that. I don't know if that was ever. That's something anti-Trekker or there you go. I think that was David Rain, the voice of HAL 9000, and he died the day before. Thank you, anti-Trekker. Yes, David Rain was the voice of HAL 9000. He died. He was 90. He was old too. He was 90. I love 2010: A Space Odyssey, or the sequel. I don't know if it was called Space Odyssey, but yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. It's a dated movie, but I liked it. Boy, fucking Scheider. Uh-oh, BBC bot alert. Maybe the short was set for the spin-off show set in the future with the new Spore Drive. They'll call it Star Trek Retardigrade. Rich Silverwood wins. Oh, that was funny. You made me laugh. That was good. We lost Big Van Vader, Jim the Anvil. No, we lost Jim the Anvil Nardhart, Bruto Sammartino, Steve Ditko, and Stanley all this year. Yes. Jim the Anvil. I'm forgetting how to say. I remember him though from the '80s wrestling and stuff that I used to watch. Well, STD certainly makes it look like those massive Borg capital ships are like V'ger. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Anti-Trekker? Was V'ger the precursor to the Borg? I have not, Bourbon Sherbert. I will be talking about Doctor Who shortly. I make more typos than Gary ever does. I'm the worst at typos. I'm always in a hurry. And I also use like I refuse to get rid of my Final Cut Pro. and half the keys on this thing don't work now, but I love it. I don't know why. I've just done, it's beaten to hell, but I've done a lot of work, a lot of good, well, at least I think, good work on that thing. My Final Cut Pro keyboard, which is like so fucking outdated. It's like awesome 2010 technology. The V'ger Borg thing is interesting, but does not really work out. Yeah, that's what I always thought. I mean, it's fun to think about though. Hey, go work, Anti-Trekker. It was nice talking to you. Take care. In the Star Trek Legacy video game, V'ger designed the Borg as probes to assimilate information, races, and technology, then bring it back to V'ger. Every big company is rebooting and remaking all the stuff. That was Nathan Norman, by the way. And Lomax says, every big company is rebooting and remaking all the stuff, and now we fans are complaining and what more original and want more original stuff. Yes, we do. We do. Rebooting stuff is it's cheap, it's cop out. Once in a while it's fine. It does work once in a while. Battlestar Galactica, it's a good, you know, Cobra Kai, but that's rare. That's like 1 in 100. I wish CBS were rebooting or remaking Star Trek. At this point, I wish they would have just called Discovery a reboot, start a whole new universe, and like, the only reason they didn't do that, and I think they were just waffling on it, and the reason they didn't do it is they thought they would lose the built-in fan base, which was just erroneous. They would have gotten, the built-in fan base would have showed up for this new Star Trek, and while there might have been initially the same anger, it would have died down. It's not ever going to die down while you're messing with canon. I sure hope Doctor Who gets a writer from Monty Python. At least it would be fun. Exactly, comrade. I agree. But the problem is they have Mr. Chibnall. The latest Voltron is great, says Bourbon Sherbert. Yes, I have heard the same. Dennis is a fan. What's up, the DJ D show? How's it going? Yeah, with the Doctor Who ratings going down, we'll go to this real quick, and then we got other stuff to talk about too. I've got TV series finale, because I'm going to swing this into the Expanse stuff when I'm done here. So since we're on TV series finale, we're gonna this is what Susan directed me to this website, by the way. It's very legit when it comes to American ratings. Now we do our ratings differently in America. Now we do count DVR. I don't know why we still use DVRs, and we wait 3 days. It's usually 3 days. I think the UK has like immediate ratings. They have immediate streaming ratings. We really need to adopt that, to be honest with you, but these are incredibly low. So as you can see, an 18 to 49 demo, which is your key demographic, of course. They're the ones who buy everything. Oh, I'm in the last year of that demo. That sucks. So, of course, the first episode did a 0.45. That's a million, almost 1.5 million viewers. That's pretty good for cable here in America. That's pretty damn good. I would add probably like another. They are just geniuses. They're gonna. That's something Anti-Trekker, huge population. It's just it did catch on over here, but they blew it. They straight up blew it. They blew it before Jodie Whittaker came on. But the Americans really like kind of like the action doctor. They do. I know that the Brits aren't really big on that, but the Americans do. So, and we are a revenue source here. That's why they have BBC America. But BBC America is not available everywhere. That's part of the problem. All right, so we started off October 7th with the 0.45, then it held on pretty strong with the next episode, 0.42, and it dipped with the Rose episode to the 0.25. Went up a little bit, and I said this at the time. I said, it's just like the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is going to make a lot of money. The Arachnids in the UK is going to get some viewers. It's going to get some viewers. It's what happens after that you'll see the damage that has been done. People generally give a show 3 to 4 episodes before they dive in or dive out. They gave it 4 episodes, and the Arachnids in the UK had, again, right after the Rosa episode, we have an American hotel owner who likes to shoot things. We had more sympathy for spiders than we had for people, and it was the most basic after-school writing there was. And then the ratings, well, they're right back to the Capaldi level. So, as I kind of thought would happen, and the .1 right there in America, it's, you know, they're holding well in the UK. I haven't seen from the last episode. The previous one, I think it was 6 million, which is plenty good to keep it going. It's going to definitely get picked up for multiple seasons. I think they're going to finish their 5-year plan. I haven't heard anything to contradict the fact that they are going to be taking a year off, another year off after the season. We'll see what happens after that, but this dip here in the U.S. it's going to just go down. So that's right there. That's at Winona Earp levels, and it's not the rating themselves; it's the percentage of the drop. All right, look at that compared to week 1. You've lost half your viewers. You've lost over half your viewers. Now, I'm sure, I haven't checked on the UK ratings. I can check real quick. I'm sure they're like at 6 million or something like that. But they've always, the US ratings have always paralleled the UK ratings pretty well as far as percentages are concerned. So, and the show is written like crap. It's like, here's me talking about the content. All right, no, I was not a fan of Jodie Whittaker. I was not a fan of the female doctor and slapping a label and making all these wholesale changes instead of maybe trying to integrate her into the Doctor Who universe with good writing and trying to win people over. No, you decided to take the hardest path, kind of like Star Trek Discovery. Lots of similarities. We continue with the F this side of our audience. The Ghostbusters marketing technique, because that worked out so well. We're doing it with everything else. Marvel Comics, Star Wars, Star Trek. We've said it over and over and over again. We're getting the data now. Now, I've said this previously. We've had the data for a long time. In Marvel Comics, we have the data. All these wholesale changes to your brand adversely affect your brand and your sales. Comic stores. We've lost 68 comic stores in the last 18 months, and I spoke to 3 owners yesterday, which I'm going to talk about later, who are about to close their doors. So we're about to lose 3 more here in California, and it's dire, and it's because of stuff like this. Now, you know, I don't know how the BBC tends to make money, and it might just do fine over in the UK, but it's not something that's going to, you know, for one, they moved it to Sunday, right? Isn't that your big day? That's our big day over there. Saturday's not really a day people watch TV over here. So, not that we watch TV that much anyway. Doctor Who UK ratings. Doctor Who UK ratings. For, what was the name of the last episode again? Demons of Punjab. Oh, and then, you know, and then the subject matter they're taking on, like, the, you know, Rosa Parks and, you know, the partition of India. And what? Why? I mean, like, oh boy, that happened. Here we go. Demons. Give me just a second. I gotta go to Doctor Who TV. Give me just a second. That was 6.5. Here we go. And they also, here we go, 8.5 million. Oh, they're just comparing them to all the other ones, yeah. So it looks like it did around the same. I'm not finding it anywhere. That's weird. I don't have a ton of time to look, so you can look. I'm gonna guess it's probably like 6 million, right? Am I right? Let's get back to the chat. Mary, if you could look up Doctor Who Demons of Jab ratings, go to Doctor Who TV. They usually have the ratings up the last couple of days, but I don't want to flip around my windows too much. We're just going to assume they're better than they are in America, but America is a kind of a precursor of things to come, and it's not looking good. And what I have noticed on my recaps is people are starting to get like mad, and not at me. They're getting mad at the show. I also look at other reviewers, people who are very friendly to Jodie Whittaker, and they're turning on the show too, and their biggest beef is, where's the sci-fi? Like, where in the hell's the sci-fi? This is a sci-fi show. I thought they were going to at least make a mystery of like the TARDIS. The TARDIS hasn't even been in the show that much. Like, they've been inside it. It just feels like we've got more TARDIS in the past. So, and yes, the Doctor was made for an English audience, which I want it to. That should never change. Never, ever, ever change. Do not make it for us, please. Do not. I could have gone behind a complete. I could have gotten behind a complete reboot of Star Trek as long as they held the morals of the original. Exactly. The amount of hate you say you're getting for a piece about a reboot of something we like in 18 is like making me feel like I'm wearing my chainmail armor while tweeting. Yes. Exactly. Can't wait for the Orville. This Trek news makes me depressed. Says Matt Guy. Yes, the Orville is it's like 5 weeks away. 5 weeks away till we get the Orville, and it's what do we get? We get 2 episodes within like 4 days, something like that. We get a Sunday and a Thursday premiere, which is weird, but I'll take it. Yes, we did, Jay Wiggs. We did a Man in the High Castle review. We did. Go check it out. I liked it. It was, there's a couple things I didn't like, but overall I liked it. It's a really well done show. Man in the High Castle is a reboot of World War II. It kind of is. Well, DreamWorks screwed up with No Straight Sheila. Now Voltron seems to, like a lucky fluke. I think they just decided to use one where they felt like it was safe to do those kind of politics and stuff. I mean, trying to defend them, I don't really know. Watch Castlevania. Oh, Castlevania is fucking awesome. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat from Nicholas Glenn. How does the Expanse get away with being good and not SJW? I hope the SJW stay away from that show. Well, because it writes to both sides. It's basically what a lot of us have been saying, is we don't want one-sided writing. We just want multiple sides. We want writing with depth, which is simple. Just give me depth. All right, don't give me this like spoon-fed cookie cutter crap that we keep on getting. The Expanse shows all sides of an issue, and even within those sides, even one that is supposedly good, there's good people in service of bad people in service of good people. It's kind of, Game of Thrones used to do that really well too. That's how the Expanse has gotten away with it, by taking it on head on and showing both sides and being very intelligent and well written. And I mean talent. You can't disregard talent. DS9 done now will be done by the same people doing STD and would be crap, sadly, says SMU Pody. Yes. Right now, the people who are in charge of Star Trek were in charge of the Dark Universe, which made The Mummy, have had involvement in the Transformers films, like not good
not good franchises. And strangely enough, they haven't really gotten a lot of ex-Star Trek people. Like Nicholas Meyer is in there, but he's directed 2 great Star Trek films. But as far as Star Trek people, like writers, who, and yeah, maybe they wanted to just be different. But Aaron Shankar runs The Expanse, old Star Trek producer, and I believe he also worked on Farscape. I saw his name on the. I think he was a producer of Farscape or something. Mary Scudder says it is confirmed we will have no Christmas special this year. Instead, we will have a New Year's Day special for Doctor Who. And that's it for Christmas specials, by the way. I don't think you'll have one next year either. And I think for precisely the reasons that I saw a video response
the captain has
to maybe what I said, and the response was erroneous, completely erroneous. I will just say that. The guy made a lot of assumptions with my response. Now, I feel that and I've said it in my video, that they, as far as Doctor Who is concerned, they do not want to use Christmas as a holiday because it's still a religious holiday. And they decided there's a holiday right next to it that's not religious. That's my belief. I'll stick with it. And we'll see. We'll see if there's any more Christmas specials after that for Doctor Who. Now, of course, they're still going to do Christmas programming and stuff, but they make Doctor Who. I saw Silver Spike there. They make it for an English audience, but they used to only make it for an English audience, and they're not making it for just an English audience now anymore. Silver Spike. It is supposed to be global. It is a global audience they're shooting for. That's where the big bucks are. Doctor Who is huge in Australia and in a lot of other countries. I mean, not just the U.S. And they are making it for an international audience now. I just don't know if it's going to appeal to an international audience. I don't know if I'm into anything that's going to appeal to an international audience and everybody, because they'll have to be so freaking generic. Getting down some of the chat here. Dr. Political, that oh so entertaining once niche sci-fi program, rip. Says Tenno Recluse, exactly. Yeah, Jack, yo. Every person who says arachnids in the UK is good is a moron. It's not a good episode of television. It is so poorly written. Doctor Who will be on next year. They will have moved the air date back slightly, but that's it. How far can they move it back? Just saw a DS9 episode where the first changing what is that? I can't read that. Reached Earth. Maybe that's I just saw a DS9 episode where they're changing the something or other. Reached Earth, and Captain Sisko has to find him in San Francisco. Oh yes. That's the isn't that the one that's written by Mark Zickery? Ghostbusters 2016, Ground Zero for the War on Fan Bases. Sebastian Simonson, indeed. Watched Revenge of the Cybermen and Destiny of the Daleks yesterday. That was Great Who, indeed, Brent. I watch Great Who every day. Every day. Maybe I should do the commentaries on my... since I watch an episode every day, although I'd probably have to do the commentaries from the gym. But, those long phases without new shit, it's almost like Berserk. I mean... 3 seasons in 21 years? Is that where Doctor Who wants to go? Good luck with that. Now, Silver Spike, who's in the know, says it's coming out next year. But I've seen multiple Silver Spike, I mean multiple reports. I mean, it is everywhere that it's going to be delayed. If they're wrong, they're wrong, but I can only go off reports. I have no inside sources on this. Doctor Who is failing. And you know what? Here's the deal. I bet you they're waiting. They're waiting to find out what's going on in case they need to retool something. Plenty of sci-fi did that without remaking, without making a big deal of it, like Expanse and Red Dwarf. There's a million ways to do it without being dumb.
As we are descending,
or simple. We'll say simple.
Southern California,
money means
down into
nothing
San Diego.
when you are on the right side of the
at
narrative.
The San Gabriel Mountains in LA County.
I guess. Yes.
Slowly,
I understand what you're saying.
My way down.
Even the doctor said it in what was
As
it?
we're listening to Gary.
Oh God. It was. It was the episode where the Cybermen and the Daleks are there. I'm brain farting on the episode now. And Torchwood is outside, and Rose is like, "Hey, they got guns. You sure you want to go down there? Out there?" He's
I don't know
yeah.
how well I'm going to land because
you
I've been having ever since with the new flight model.
You're going to get shot. He's
and
like, yes,
this is version 11.30 beta 4.
That is England right
and
there.
Because of that, X-Plane 11 beta 4.
I'll die, but I'll have.
I had a real bad landing last time. Hoping I can control it this time.
It's about dying with the moral high ground. Marvel don't care what they don't care that they think they can survive with the movies, but the trend, but that trend won't be permanent. Yes, the Marvel thinks they can survive, and they can. Right now, the movies are paying for everything, but that time is coming up pretty soon. I'm sorry to say. Sounds like Doctor Who writers have more stories with Americans or set here in the U.S., and they sound like they don't like us. They might not. It's a lot of it's tongue-in-cheek. I mean, Moffat did a bunch of that stuff, but yeah, kind of sounds like that. BBC wants to kill Doctor Who just like CBS, the fan of Star Trek. The BBC execs hate Doctor Who. Do you think that's it?
I'm not much of a Doctor Who fan anyway, but I don't care.
I do. The BBC execs are infatuated with their own politics. I have cable as part of my rent, but mostly only watch YouTube. Unless the show is really good or talked about a lot, I won't spend time to watch it. Well, you know, we can be more discerning now because of YouTube and because, well, you can't believe anything from the entertainment sites. That's why people come to YouTube now. They just want to hear regular folks talk about a show, and they'll agree or disagree. What's up, JD Brisbos? How's it going? Welcome. Comrade says, we're all flawed biocomputers, but that's why the Borg are such great guys. They can fix that. Sure, Kurtzman's beard looks like crap, but against Gary's Amish beard, is it Amish? It's Amish length now. Nothing looks good. P.S. You once quoted an article that said Star Trek Disco DS9. I almost exploded. Star Trek Disco. Star Trek Disco. They're trying to move that away from the STD thing, so they don't get labeled STD. So do not call them disco. Call them what they are. And lick that like button, please do. Please do. I've hated Chibnall. I gotta be careful not to say Chinball. Chibnall. Ever since his appearance on Open Air, I have not, says Hyper Sow. I have not seen that. I've seen a couple of interviews, and I also saw a great video that breaks down like how he writes. John Barrowman is appearing on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Onto TV. I got to see that. Predictions for the next season. Captain Jack will come back. I promise you. Promise you. The one thing is the ratings start slipping. They've always can go to the Meta-Crisis Doctor or bring back Captain Jack. That would help. I think it would definitely help. The Torchwood series set in the U.S. was good, but it should have never been called. You should never call a Welshman English. You keep lower teeth or keep pretty face if you don't. Oh, you won't have teeth or face if you don't. Yeah, okay, got it. That's, you know what? A lot of us don't know that though. That's something we got to kind of say. Like you got to give people a chance on that one. You know. if you want to get rid of STD, all you have to do is flood it with antibiotics, i.e. cancellation. It says SMU Pony. There you go. Or, you know, Fanicillin. If Hollywood insists on remaking old shows, they should remake shows like Tales from the Gold Monkey. Oh my God. Yes. Remake bad ones in the good ones. I've always said that. Yes, Captain Jack was a great character, SMU Goody. Yes, he was. A brilliant character. And who should come back in his own show. You know. Ghostbusters 3 is in the works. Thought they already killed the franchise. Is it in the works, or are they just talking about it being in the works? When am I going to start selling Death Before Disco shirts? Pretty damn soon, because nobody else is. So maybe in the next 24 to 48 hours. Lamac asked the question of the day. Gary, will there be more Exozone episodes? I believe so. Yes, I can say that. I have not spoken to Doomcock in a couple days. I mean, we chit chat on not much. I mean, we chit chat on Twitter a little bit, but he's busy. I've been busy. I was on a bit of a mission yesterday that I got to talk about later. I drove around the Bay Area like all day. Oh yeah, join our Discord too. Thanks, Kato. Make sensual with the like button. There you go, 6 scale combat. We like that. We like that. I did, Philip A. Demick, I like the Gold Monkey as well. I thought it was a cool show. I mean, it's total Indiana Jones ripped off, but it was fun. I was once a die-hard Doctor Who fan, but even I wanted it canceled. Let's call it a mercy killing. It says Manueller 1. Yes. At this point, yes. But I think they're going to go through, they're going to give us 2 more seasons in the next 3 years. I think there'll be a lot of time between the shows. And I think that's a way of fixing the budget. I don't know how they do budgets over there, but I imagine it's like everywhere else. It's yearly, and the Doctor Who budget has gotten too big, so they've kind of fiddled with it and given it long breaks in between. It's hurt the show. It's completely hurt the show. The show has been it's been death by 1,000 paper cuts for a couple 3 years actually, and this just is going to do it in my opinion. And listen, there's people out there. Listen, I watch a lot of TV. I watch what goes down in entertainment for a long time. Back when I had skin in the game, when I worked in it and stuff, I've seen things repeat over and over. And this is like what's going through, what Doctor Who is going through is what no difference what Star Wars is going through. Is people are pissed off, they're upset, and they're going to dip out. And for a little while, it's going to be successful just because the brand is that strong. But no brand lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And when the data starts coming in that there is a decline, there is a decline. It's visible right there. I just showed it to you. In the United States, there's a decline. That's going to parallel everywhere else. The UK will be the last holdout for Doctor Who. They're going to have the most fans, the highest ratings, but those have been declining as well. They've been going down. They're still good, but they're going down. And what they wanted with this show is for it to stay up. Of course, they're going to spin it positive. Everybody's going to spin it positive, but you opened with 10 million viewers. You don't have that anymore. That's a decline. If you don't want to look at it as a decline, I'm sorry, but it's a decline. And I can hear it all now. That's normal. It was the wow factor. This is why it hasn't worked for Marvel. Like I said, the data on this kind of sex swapping and getting political, the data is in. Just go look at Marvel Comics sales over the last 3 years and compare it to any other thing you've done. Ghostbusters. Was Ghostbusters successful? No. Was Ocean's 8 successful? No. These movies were not successful. These things were not successful. They did okay, but they're spinning okay as successful. If they were hits, people would still be talking about it. We'd be getting a Ghostbusters sequel. They would be breaking records at the box office. If Doctor Who was a hit, it would be maintaining 8 to 10 million viewers, 8 to 7 million viewers, and doing well in the U.S. and in freaking South Korea and Australia, and it's declining. So we'll see if it turns around. Spanking the gold monkey. Yeah, we'll see if it turns around, but I mean, if something's declining, it's declining. And I've observed this with Marvel Comics over 3 years, and the comic industry is in danger of disappearing because of what they've done. And DC, in their wisdom, has decided to try to do the same thing. Not as bad as Marvel, but yeah, I've got a whole podcast ready for that. I've got a whole podcast ready for how DC had a chance to like take the reins and be the #1 comic company, and because they keep Dan Didio in charge, they'll never succeed with that guy, ever. Yes, more Exozone, says Jim J. Definitely. I've got some woo-woo to talk about in a little bit. So we have Wednesday woo-woo, which can be like a little tease for the Exozone. But the last I heard is the last time I talked about it was it got mentioned on the High Council, and then Jeff from World Class Bullshitters mentioned an interest in being on the show, which is totally cool. I mean, great, awesome, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, we just got to wait until Dukak has time, and he can take all the time he needs to take. It's cool. When it arrives, it'll be awesome. Trust me, it'll be so much. It's so much fun. Exozone, yes please, says Brent Newman. When will Dukak take the Noxie moon base? Who says he hasn't? I'm not saying. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Sorry, bud. Yes. Doctor Who, supposed to end officially. It will for now. Mr. Roboto, thank you for the $2 super chat. I just, like with Star Trek, I'm pretending this isn't canon. This is like, la la la, doesn't exist, whatever. That's how I deal with it. We can get to that later. Let's finish up this chat, and then we'll get to the Wednesday woo. All right, how's that sound? Tales of the Gold Monkey was awesome. It was. It makes me want to watch it now. Is it on Hulu or something like that? The Illuminati is trying to suppress the Exozone. That's quite, that might be possible. Philip Ada. That might be it. But the Illuminati is no match for Nerdrotic and Dukak. And then if World Class Bullshitter gets in there, I mean, because like we can run faster than the Illuminati. The Illuminati is a bunch of old dudes, like on breathers, waiting for their clones to finish. So yeah, so right now we can outrun them. Yes, STD and Doctor Who need an Enterprise like Mercy killing the Saquist. I agree. Gary, do you like Mountain? Do I like Mountain View in the Bay Area? I used to live there. I was like, you mean right, Mountain Dew? Oh, Mountain View. I got you, Dynamo 75. I do like Mountain View. I actually like it a lot. It's a nice town. My wife's extremely stupid rich uncle lives down there and has one of his houses, and we used to go down there for Thanksgiving, and it was awesome. We haven't in the last couple of years, but yeah. Gary, will Exozone address the latest sightings in Ireland? I am going to address that right now, but yes. I will say that we are planning on addressing topics, so it's not just going to be, I mean, it's going to be open conversation too, but we are going to be addressing things. I have been doing some research on the side, just in case it fires up, So I am ready to go. I am so ready to go. Because, I mean, I do this, I do this for fun. I do it for fun. I freaking like listen to, oh my God, Richard Dolan does a live stream almost every day now, every other day. I don't miss, Mike Barris started live streaming. These guys have finally started figuring it out. It's like, dudes, you don't need to go to these damn conferences all the time. It's great, but if you want to make money, get your YouTube channel going, just turn it on and start talking. Dolan's live streams are great. Did a great one last night, and he talked about the Irish, the UFOs in Ireland. Yeah, I would say I watch a couple hours a day on the subject, and I've been reading books and listening to stuff for 30 years, so I'm up to speed. I am up to speed. The Flash. Okay. Yeah, the latest news on the Doctor Who delay is it's still delayed. We'll see. Silver Spike might be cutting some news here, but it's still delayed. I would recommend that the BBC just come out and say it's not. I think that would be a really good move for them because they need some positive news right now. Or maybe they think it's all positive. Thank you, Jess Smolders. Doctor Who ratings. The UK were 5.77 million live, so that's almost 6 viewers for the latest episode. That is live viewers, so that's probably going to consolidate out to 6.57, probably 7.5. So it's still going down, but that's still good. That's still good. In the US, it is down to 700,000. 700,000. That's good to do. Okay, so we can talk about the Wednesday and the Irish UFOs. Do we want to talk about that right now? We can do that right now. Let me get to my article. Give me just a second. All right, let's see who's reporting it. Because the interesting thing about this was it has been reported in the mainstream media, which is happening more and more, which I like. What Secure Team 10 pointed out today was there is another UFO sighting that same day in Ireland. Now that could be just, you know, coincidence. All right. Okay, here we go. I have to get things set up here. Give me just a second. Boop, 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 boop. All right. And if you guys don't subscribe to the great Secure Team 10, subscribe to Secure Team 10. It's one of the best channels on YouTube, period. He's not like Third Phase Moon, okay? He's very picky what UFO footage he puts up. Now, not all of it's real. Of course not. Of course not. But as my argument with everybody, with every skeptic, is if 0.001% is actually an alien, we should address that, and that is the biggest story of our time. Okay, so UFOs have been spotted on the coast of Ireland. This happened a couple days ago. 2 pilots separately spotted bizarre and unexplained flashing lights traveling unnaturally quick near Shannon Airport. They told local air traffic control, but authorities have no explanation for the strange phenomenon, making clear there were no military tests or other unexpected flights that would explain behavior. On one morning of last week, a British Airways pilot spotted bright lights moving past her plane in a view over the west coast. Now, there is recordings right now of these pilots plural, talking to each other, and multiple pilots witnessed this, or 3 to be exact. It was moving so fast, she said, according to the recordings of the conversation, it came up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veered to the north. It was a very bright light that disappeared at a very high speed. Then shortly after, a pilot of a Virgin plane. Then shortly after, a pilot of a Virgin plane flying from U.S. to U.K. saw something. What's up, Matthew Matson? I saw that real quick out of the corner of my eye. Let's say that. Then shortly after, the pilot of the Virgin plane from U.S. to U.K. saw something similarly mysterious as it flew over the same area. The pilot described a similar sight, saying that it looked like a meteor, but was made up of multiple flashes and was incredibly bright. The lights were flying at astronomical speeds. So said one of the pilots, who said it appeared to be flying at around twice the speed of sound. So we're looking at Mach 2. The Irish Aviation Authority said it was investigating the strange phenomenon, but it has nothing. But that it was nothing to do confidentially. Following reports from a small number of aircraft on Friday, the 9th of November, unusual air activity, the IAA has filed a report. So I like how they put this, following the reports from a small number of aircraft. So they try to minimize it right there. Right there, instead of saying multiple witnesses, because what this is, their choice of words was small number of aircraft. A small number of 3 to possibly 4 pilots witnessed something that sped up, changed directions, and it wasn't a meteor. One pilot actually suggests it's a meteor, and then another one says meteors don't do that. And then another pilot says, I'm glad it wasn't just me. So, yeah. Again, we get this bullshit.
5,000 feet
number
remaining.
Of aircraft. That shit makes me so, like, listen. It's way past time to let us know what the fuck's going on. They're not going to. This whole disclosure thing, I've never believed it'll ever happen. I think they're seeping it into the public, they being the powers that be. You know, sometimes I have trouble. You can't have it both ways. You can't have like this all-controlling government and then government stupid and chaotic. I think there is a little bit of both. I think people do absolutely control the media, and the less corporations we have owning media outlets, I think the more people are starting to believe that too, which is a good thing, which is a very good thing. We need more people like opening their eyes to this stuff. And it's not to make people sound like they're stupid. You're not. You're busy. You're fucking busy. You're out working. You're doing stuff. You don't have time to like sort through like what's bullshit or what's not. You're just like, I need my news for a second, then I got to go do my thing. So it's never, for me anyway, like you're an idiot, okay? Because you're not. You're just busy. You're making the world go around. We appreciate that. Those of us who have time, they'll have time to like sift through some of the bullshit. And hopefully there's more YouTubers who can do this and don't become charlatans or cult leaders, because the UFO, right now, the UFO community is filled with them. And we need more Richard Dolans. We need more Richard Dolans out there. You know, yeah, he sells books, but he's like Michael Tellinger. He's a guy who's out there. Michael Tellinger, man, stay away from that guy. Stay away from anybody who's trying to sell you something. So this Ubuntu thing he's talking about, which is like a cashless society, that sounds like some cult level, cult stuff. Stay away from it. He's in the UFO community right now. He's in the ancient civilization community. He's a guy I used to like a lot. He seemed really charming. And then he started selling me this.
Hello there, how you doing?
Whatever, and
from
like,
Brazil?
oh, no.
From Southern California here.
Corey Good.
My X-plane cut out on me.
Ruin it for everybody. Like they're skeptics.
Yeah, from Southern California. I'm actually
just go look at Corey Good.
Palmdale, Lancaster, up in the high desert area.
Look at these guys. They're charlatans. They're snake oil salesmen. They ruin the.
Currently,
movie.
I'm trying in the simulation. I'm trying to land.
When you've got like legit guys like Richard Dolan.
Trying to land in San Diego right now in my simulation.
guy.
failed on me.
And, you know,
I
you got
tried to
Mike
do
Barrett
pull on
out
my
there. He's a little
reversers,
farther
and
out,
it
but,
made me
he's
hop
still
on
like
the
a real
landing.
dude. I've talked to him
So
in
now I'm
contact.
trying to
He's
line
really
myself
nice.
up and try it again.
And yeah, but then there's other people.
But all
out
is-
there,
all is
you know,
well
I was in
here.
contact with the desert. I
All
heard
is good.
people where I was even going, that is some bullshit right there. That is like fucking out there. So I want, you know.
So that's what I'm doing right now,
respectability in
just
this,
trying to line myself
and
up
that
on
means
runway
we have
27
to
and try it
police
again.
Ourselves, and we have to keep the weirdos out. I mean, we're all weirdos. I'm a weirdo. I'm a big time fucking weirdo, but you know what I'm saying. Like, we got to keep the people who are in there to basically rob people out of it. Sorry.
And
I'm on my
listening to
soapbox
Gary.
about that. Stephen Greer. I'm back and forth on him, Matt. Back and forth on him. I'll be honest. I'm going to say I really liked what he did with the disclosure thing.
I am hand flying it. I'm not auto
Auto
landing right now. It's total hand flying. The 737.
Prior to Unacknowledged, I wasn't down with it. It seemed like it was getting a little like, you know, like, listen, these guys can make money. You know how you make money? Go do your conferences, do your speech. When you start trying to make your own camp, it starts to look like a cult to me. I'd say steer clear of that. But I will say Stephen Greer's Unacknowledged was a good film. It was a good film, and it needed to be made. So like sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not. It's tough. It's tough to sit through.
Yeah,
this
I was
bullshit.
all
I'm really
set up, all
disappointed
ready
with
to
a lot of
go.
things I saw in Contact.
No problem at all.
I'm
Everything
shaking
was
my head
fine.
going,
And then when I
you know,
touched
like,
down,
I've never
I
been
threw on my
self-conscious about
reversers,
being
and then
out
they
there
just
about
didn't
UFOs.
engage.
Never, ever.
And so I had
I don't care
to
what anybody
floor it,
thinks.
try to get back
I
out,
walked out of Contact
and get out of there. And so if you rewatch this video towards the end, you'll see that, yeah, I was doing a lot of work trying to recover.
Eisenhower girl. The one who's like the
This
niece
is,
of Eisenhower.
actually I'm over speeding right now. I'm at 256 knots and I should be under.
Like she was privy to any White House press conferences, and she looks like.
But
she's
anyway,
like
so yeah, it was.
Yeah, like
it was
Laura
fun.
Eisenhower, is that her name? Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, but Stephen Greer, I'm hot and cold on.
Yeah, see San Diego. I'm actually in Mexico right now at the moment.
Like, I'd say the most solid guys out there are Richard Dole.
I'll just do a long spin and then I'll line up.
God, I'm blanking
Long
on his name.
turnaround.
Older guy too. The guy who used to be like a nuclear physicist. What's his name? Help me, people. He doesn't believe it. He believes in everything except for Roswell. Bob Lazar is somebody I believe. Oh, Stanton Friedman.
I usually like my smaller airplanes. Those are the airplanes I like, but you know, every now and then I gotta make some money for the company, and the only way I can make money for the company is to fly big jets.
I'll admit I like Linda Moulton Howe.
My Solus Wings, which is
I
a
like
virtual airline that I have on the Flight Jobs network.
Get a little crazy too, but I like him. So if you want to see who Richard Dolan is, like, yeah, to me he's like the number one. He's got his own podcast. He's got his own YouTube channel. Go subscribe, check him out. My favorite guy though is that for ancient civilizations and stuff right now is Randall Carlson. Randall Carlson. I love that guy. The most woo-woo thing for me is the actual reality. If you look up deep enough into science, how it all fits together and what physics, the laws of physics, parameters need to be exactly as they are. And that's cool. There's plenty of stuff in science that it changes every day. So the reason I like woo-woo is because I'm open to it. I'm not saying it's fact. I don't present anything as fact ever. This is stuff I am open to. I don't believe everything. I don't believe even half of what I hear. But it's entertaining. And it's fun.
Line myself up with runway
and I've seen enough weird stuff in my life. And I think a lot of you have too. To where I think it's just. For a small fee of $19.99, I'll show you an alien autopsy. Yes. What? Okay, I watched 3 movies on Amazon recently. One was above Majestic, missing 411, and the hunt for the Skinwalker.
Okay, I'm off.
The hunt for the Skinwalker is good. Whether you believe it or not, you could make a story out of that. I know they probably have, but man, that is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. And
I turned too late. So this is going to be interesting.
The freakiest, scariest thing is missing 411. Missing 411 will make you think twice about going on a hike.
This is already going to be a fail, I can tell already.
Missing 411.
Just look at my position of where the airplane is, or where the airplane is, and where the airport is.
You open, it just presents you that there's a bunch of people missing in our national parks, and we have taken out the wild animals, suicides.
I'm not even listening to Gary at the moment. Concentrating on what I'm doing.
Somebody's behind you 1 second, and then they're gone. That happens way more than anybody is telling us, and they have proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the national parks are suppressing this information, and we don't know why. We don't know why. And there's a bunch of commonalities between this. When they do find a body or find a person, they're always like,
gotta slow down to like 40, 145
and like
knots.
It's in the middle of winter, and they walked up, or children who climbed 10,000 foot mountains and shit. It's weird. Look into it. There's a bunch of free. It's Dave Polides. Used to be a Bigfoot guy, but kind of fell into this, and it's kind of become his thing now. And there's a ton of it for free on YouTube. Just listen to the Coast to Coast interviews. Listen, George Knapp does a couple of great interviews with him. Not a big George Norrie guy. Listen to the George Knapp stuff. I don't like it. Obviously, there is a lot out there. It's egotistical to think there isn't. But the logistics of space travel would mean that for such a regular contact, there would have to be a base of
approaching 27.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if somebody is able to get here to us,
I think there's an airplane right there taking off.
Be able to communicate with them. Like, they might communicate through pheromones. Like, we have no idea. It might be trying to communicate with dolphins. You know, it's like there's no base. Yeah, there's no base language. There's no base anything. Like, you know, they could be here already. We wouldn't fucking know it. I mean, we have these big oceans that we don't know shit about. The aliens saw Star Trek Discovery, figured only the Irish.
Running out of airspeed, or running out of wings. Stalling right there. Now I'm landed, but now we're gonna try it again. Hey, now we got the reversers to work this time. Hey, the reversers work.
By the way. Oh, the poor Irish. I missed the super chat. Sorry about that. I'll get it. I'm all laughing to myself. I suck.
There we go. Close enough. We'll go to the next turnout.
Load this.
We got it on the ground. See, how bad was it? It says rest in peace, so we didn't even know what our field per minute was. I know it was bad because I was starting to lose altitude. Like I said, I'm not a big tube liner guy. I always like my small airplanes.
Opening the overhead lockers, as items may have shifted during the flight. Thank you
But
for flying
hey,
with us.
I'm on the ground.
My super chat window's
some
not
clean up
so
here.
I'm gonna have to roll, do it the old-fashioned way. Mr. Roboto for $2.
Did get it on the ground. I suck, but I got it on the ground.
We're left with Spawn. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Mr. Roboto. I do apologize. I was on a big rant there, and I just missed it. Thank you, Mary Ashby, for pointing out. Mr. Roboto, you're awesome. Get me on the woo-woo, man. I don't dial it back. I'm sorry. I get a little crazy with the woo-woo. Aerial phenomenon on YouTube, says the lock. Yes. And hi, Rough Girl. It's good to see you. Combat.
Well, at least we got it on the ground.
We are all just a few pubes and stains away from the.
Once I get parked, then I will do a replay to see how bad the landing was.
Blizzard after Diablo Immortal fuck up. Yeah, that was a big fuck up. The aliens, okay, I saw that one already. Just remember, the government hasn't ever been able to keep a large secret. It's unlikely that there's anything beyond what we currently know as far as encounters of the third kind, says Saquist. I disagree with that. The government compartmentalizes so well on with certain things and doesn't on others. But if we ever found out where the missing $3 trillion went, that's a pretty big secret. Free tickets to Area 51. You only pay a shipping fee of $25.99, says Rough Girl. Exactly. And that stuff is out there. I mean, you're joking, but you're not. I love Trek. I admire Star Wars. I was scared to death by Alien. I believe in aliens. But AFOs, how? And if it's real, I would sign up with them. Wouldn't even be able. We couldn't even handle the Empire, says Comrade Burford Axfielder. Well, if we're still thinking in our terms. Didn't the Martians have a deal with Eisenhower and the CIA? They traded all the tech for a glass of water? Says you, John. Yes, very similar to History for Beats, yes. The only reason there are so many UFO sightings.
All right. Got it on the ground here. Let's go ahead and shut everything off.
Starship charts on their walls and like anti-trekkers to identify them.
We have
oh man,
access to our doors yet? No.
A theory needs to be exactly the way it is because that is the way they have constructed.
APU going.
People are seeing advanced Air Force aircraft. They are not aliens. Aliens did not build the pyramids.
Fresh. I made it here.
They have never been here.
We did complete the flight, so we're going to make a little money, so that's good. Go ahead and open everything up.
I don't know that. But there is no evidence. Well, I mean, I don't think aliens built the pyramids. I am not one of those. I do not think aliens built the pyramids. I think man built the pyramids, but it was, I think the pyramids are a lot fucking older than they say they are. Remember that there are no hieroglyphics inside the pyramids. And the only Khufu was graffiti, and that was reported by an English, I'm forgetting his name. Oh God. It was in the 1800s, and the theory is that he reported on that graffiti of Khufu. I don't know if I'm getting the name exactly right.
Process here.
Because he had to justify his trip, which brought up nothing. So it's in Egyptologists go off of what they find in the dirt or what is written on a wall. They have no other evidence than that, and that is guessing.
Let's have a look.
Archaeology is guessing.
And see how bad my landing was.
They don't mix it in with
we are done technically.
And they really should.
I don't know if my ground handling stuff will work.
I think no. I do not think aliens built the pyramids.
I'll drive up.
I think vastly old.
Hopefully it doesn't crash the desktop on me. Find out here in just a second.
I say minimum 12,000 years.
Yeah, they're all going to show up.
Fire in the Sky is a great movie. Missing 411 is horrifying. Tons of people are disappearing in the national parks. It is.
Very good.
I'm getting the 404 page not found right now too on my super chats. So
anyway,
you guys can still see me,
they're all going to work, so that's good.
I'm going to have to look it up somewhere else.
I'm amazed that San Diego's nice and clear and sunny. Usually, coming in with a fog or anything else. All right, so let's have a look and see how bad my landing was.
There are pyramids. There's
and I'm gonna turn down
thousands
Gary
of pyramids
just a
in China.
little bit more
and they just
here.
let things grow. Don't really go in them, but there are pyramids everywhere.
Back a little.
Part of what I'm going to
Ladies
do on
and
the
gentlemen,
exozone
the
is
captain
I'm
has
just going to
turned on the
briefly show
seatbelt sign.
all the
Please take your
similarities
seats
Right about there.
and fasten your
ancient
seatbelt.
cultures. It's really easy. A lot of people have done it, but you just simply show.
Let's go to.
I'll show the shared flood myth, the shared archaeology,
view,
or not. I'm sorry.
Tower.
The shared, you know, the pyramids.
Close enough.
All the fucking pyramids. All the there's statues that are very similar. How many naval of the worlds are there? There's
That's
so
somebody
many
else
similarities with our
coming in a
ancient
landing.
culture that they had to, at the very least, have been in contact.
I'm getting set up here, as you can see.
That bullshit about them not
I'm
being
way
in
over
contact
here.
with each other is bullshit.
Coming
There's
around.
tons of evidence of that. Tons.
I'm going to pop Gary out here in a minute, so we can see it.
Just your tin foil, Gary, for your super chats. I can't right now. I can't bring up the window. The window is telling me nothing. It's probably stupid Chrome. I can fix it.
Keep myself to the top left there.
You know what? That's because I have stupid.
At least I was able to recover it. Well, that's not too bad.
It sucks all your bandwidth. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, Mr. Roboto, an alien visit here for vacation.
See the shadows, boy. Look at that. I'm really got a nose in the air
They might.
because I slowed down too much.
Have a good laugh.
I've slowed down way too long. And look at that bounce.
Or maybe they're just teasers for Hitchhiker. They come down, find some unsuspecting guy, put antennas on their head and make meat.
Well, I only had one bounce, so that's not too bad.
It's called a teaser. All good. We see. Okay.
You got my buckets out. I got everything out.
What about the robot?
And I was pretty hard on the brakes right there.
Well, Egypt was the Stone Age empire, and still when the Romans were around. Yes, the pharaohs. Yeah, we're talking Stone. Absolutely.
Well, that's good.
How did they chisel out bricks that basically weighed as much as a car would? And some of that stuff was granite, and it could not be cut with bronze.
And right about
It's like chopping down a tree
there.
with a plastic butter knife.
And
that's
go
the
to
questions
this
that need to
shot
be
right
answered.
here.
And there's lots of evidence of weird, like saw marks and stuff.
I don't know what shot I need to
So,
do.
as I've said before, I think it was a human
I tried this
advanced
shot right here.
civilization, not like advanced
Try
with
this shot.
spaceships and shit like that. Like just a more advanced culture that
I really did
possibly
bounce
got
it.
wiped off the planet due to
You can hear it pull up.
cataclysm that happened about 11,500 years ago. That the Earth has scars from everywhere.
I don't think you're going to show the bouncing too much.
Showing mass flooding,
Nah.
electrification on stone, which is
That shot wasn't a good shot.
stone, which is something.
Don't really see the
Every
bounce.
One of those stones got struck by lightning.
Also, you do this kind of stuff to be able to do. Basically, it's a
to get to that temperature. Yeah, there's lots of crazy
it's
shit.
basically
There's just
a
shit we don't know
debrief
about the
is
past.
what I'm doing right
we know
now.
Nothing about her past. Zero. You know, how many people knew about the mounds here in America that have been pretty much wiped out by the
This
settlers?
shot.
They were everywhere.
But anyway, I still saved it regardless. So
Everywhere, those burial mounds. And it's something like they didn't teach me. I heard.
There's the
nothing
bounce
about a
right
burial
there.
mound.
bounce comes down. I was able to at least keep it down. And see how the
But that's that's just proof that
the reversers are not wanting to come out. And because this is a beta, this 11.30 beta 4 is what we're running right now. I don't know. I might have to give this to FlyJSim, the makers of this this model, and see if they can repeat the same.
I like the 10,000-year-old hammer they found in the 9,000-year-old rock.
He feels doing the same thing on the other side, because like I said, I'll have to give it to FlyJSim.
But there's other things they found too. go. Oh God, I'm blanking on his name now too. Michael Cremo.
Oh, yeah, crash the desktop.
He's the expert on that stuff.
This isn't good. Might be getting a crash the desktop.
There is an interesting video about ancient
South
American
desktop.
cultures and their
okay, well, that was it.
built for stone, basically saying they should have been.
Oh well, guys. Well, I got to crash the desktop on that one.
No
so, but anyway, at least I did land. I did get a little bit of money.
These giant stones, for one,
and
in South America, they were.
I'll mute Gary here real quick, and I'll go over this. So we'll go over here to my airline, and you can see overall is 100. But basically, this is a flight between Portland, Oregon to San Diego, and made a little bit of scratch on it. Let's see, did 800 miles, 15,000 pounds a kilogram or kilograms of cargo, and we did 63,000 on the trek. So, a little bit of money. Well, anyway, guys, I appreciate you all watching very, very much. As you can tell, I suck. For those that stayed around a little longer, I suck at in turbo and tube liners. I do like my other ones better, but you know, it is what it is. You know. And overall, this is the flight that I did. Let me jump on over here to the third monitor. Yeah, so you can see what the end result was. And what ended up happening is, you know, I ended up, and I mean, there's no problems. The flight itself, the takeoff, no problem. Zipped on all the way down. Off. My computer's going nuts right now. The fun time is when you got down in here to San Diego. They got down here to San Diego. That's when my computer just really, really slow. This is Little Nav, and Little Nav, the developer for Little Nav needs to optimize it a little bit better. Because I've noticed with X-Plane version 11.30 and other things, I've been having real issues. You can see the reason why I got all these zigzags. I came in, I set up to land, and then found out that you know, I couldn't get my reversers to work. Then I had to take off. I immediately banked left, came around, dipped on around, and realized that over here that I realized that I went too far out, and then curved it on in, and then it was ugly, and that was hand flying the whole time. But I did get it down, so it is what it is. But anyway, guys, again, I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe if you feel that I am worthy, and I will definitely catch you guys on the next X-Plane Adventures. I thought it was cool. I mean, you know, my only problem is I don't fly. I need to stick with one airplane, and that's my problem. You know, it is what it is. So anyway, I will catch you guys later. It's time for me to go tend to business. Yeah.